Dear students, today we are going to discuss Theory of Poetry by T.S. Eliot. So yesterday we have discussed the tradition and individual talent by T.S. Eliot. Today we are going to discuss Theory of Poetry. So we'll discuss some sort of aspects regarding this topic. So first of all, we'll discuss historical scene. The historical scene involves perception not only the pastness of the past but also its presence. The historical scene compels a man to write merely with his own generation in his bonds, but with the feeling that whole of the literature of Europe from Homer down to his own day, including literature of his own country, forms one continuous, exist in the present and the past and the present from one stimulus order. Yes, historical scenes that a writer should discuss the things regarding past. She or he, writer can discuss, but the concern of writer should be regarding present. As we have discussed the imagination, we have discussed the theory of poetry, we have discussed Wordsworth, we have discussed imagination, poetry, nature, etc., etc. But the thing is that if a writer is going to write something, past should be there. The aspects of past should be there, but writer is concerned to write in the present scenario. So this is the thing that historical scenes should be there. If a writer is going to write something regarding culture, so he or she can quote the culture from Europe, from history of English literature, but the concern should be regarding the present, that how we can deal that particular aspect in the present. So this is the concern of T.S. Eliot, that how a writer should be concerned with the history. So the second one is impersonality of poetry. According to Eliot, the artist must continue surrender himself to something which is valuable than himself. The literary tradition, he must allow his poetic sensibility to be shaped and modified by the past. Yes, impersonality of poetry. The personality of the poetry is also there, but the poet should also refine his or her personality regarding poetry. If he or she is dealing with the past, then he or she should think that how the things were in the past and how the present is going on, and how the writer is going to change him or herself. That is the question. And if something you can say that if I am a writer and I am going to deal with some sort of aspect, but the same aspect is not with me, so I should think that how I have to change my personality regarding that concept. If you are going to write regarding the love towards nature, it means that you should love at least towards nature. So same is the thing there, that writer should be concerned with the personality as the things are going to be discussed in that particular domain. So the writer should be very keen in that aspect, that how to deal with that particular aspect. So the next one is poetic emotions. Yes, all you know that from the very first day we are discussing the poetry and we are discussing poetic emotions, that how that emotions should be there in the poetry of a writer, that how a poet should involve him or herself within a poetry. As we were discussing, the poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings and emotions. So feelings should be there, but emotions should be there, that how poetic emotion involves in the writing and how the writer is going to do, and how the writer is giving us something new in the poetry. So this is something, and the next one is disassociation of sensibility. Yes, another the popular phrase of the Eliot, dissociation of sensibility and its opposite, unification of sensibility, first used in essay The Metaphysical Poets from Homage to John Dryden. By unification of sensibility, he means a fusion of thought and feeling, a reaction of thought into feeling, a direct sense oppression of thought. Such fusion of thought and feelings is essential for good poetry. Yes, sensibility should be there, but the bad poetry results when there is disassociation of sensibility. The poet is unable to feel throughout. There is a split between thought and feeling. Yes, when the poet is going to deal within a feeling and thoughts, there will be a contradiction. If you are going to think about your imagination, and then your feelings and emotion are there, and which are disturbing the thing, then you can say that poet is not going to deal with the good poetry. As earlier we have discussed that how you have to deal with the good poetry and the bad poetry. So the thing is that according to the T.S. Eliot, that if you are going to deal with the sensibility, then the things will be very better, and if you are not going to deal with that sort of aspect, then you can be a writer but not a good writer. So these are some sort of aspects given by the poetry theory of poetry by T.S. Eliot. So that's all for today's. Thank you.